So welcome back, students, in new semester. Am I audible to all?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon to all. Uh, Let me share the first of all syllabus of your semester 2. So I hope now you can able to see the screen.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So this syllabus copy is also available in our college site. So you can download it from the site, as well as I will upload it in the our JC, that you're already familiar with the what is JC. Okay. So I hope everybody like enjoyed the session of all sessions of semester 1
Yes, sir.
and done very fantastic job, like working with the new technologies and new techniques and new ideas. In semester 2 again, basically if the college was offline, so you'll be get more like uh, ideas and a lot of activities done by the college in this like semester, or I can say the when the new year starts, like in Jan and Feb, a lot of activities done by the college. But now since it is online, so there is a very few activity which is possible and which we can able to do it, that we definitely do it. So I think Jay sir has already posted that about the poster competition. So the topics is already given to you. Okay. So you can just work on those topics, and then if you have any query, then you can interact with the teachers, no problem. Okay. And if I talk about this semester 2, you can just a minute. So the paper name is, in semester 1 it was descriptive statistics 1, now it is descriptive statistics 2, because in semester 2 it is descriptive statistics 2. It's a part of descriptive statistics. So again, as I mentioned, descriptive means you can understand the paper, like we have a lot of conceptual knowledge with the strong knowledge of statistics using the descriptive papers. Okay. And whereas statistical method means you are dealing with the concepts with the through the some distributions to with the probabilities. Okay, that is all basically statistical. So just more about the inferences, interpretation, generalizations. Okay. So if I talk about in brief, what is a correlation and a regression? Correlation and regression is a concepts which is broadly used in the different field, the different areas, where one can understand the some relationship between two or more variables. So if I talk about in terms of example, if I just say, let's say the example like height and weight of students. Okay. So randomly I pick up one students and ask their what is their height and what is their weight. Okay. So I have collected the data of height and weight. Okay. And try to use correlation or regression concepts. Try to use correlation and regression concepts. So I need to know whether what kind of relationship between the height of students and the weight of the students. Is there a positive relationship or is there a negative relationship or no relationship? Okay. And if this relation exists, then can I get height when weight is given to me? Or vice versa? Weight is given to me, can I get height? Or height is given to me, can I get weight? May I audible to all or not?
सर वॉइस बहुत ब्रेक हो रहा है.
Voice is
No,
break.
sir.
Now it is
वॉइस बहुत ब्रेक हो रहा है आपका.
now it is audible.
Yes, sir. Break हो रहा है, sir.
अब भी ब्रेक हो रहा है.
Yes, sir.
यस सर.
Okay.
नहीं सर अभी ऑडिबल.
Okay.
सही है.
So this is a lack of all like connectivity issue. But see, this is the one of the very worst part is that we get such a problem and we cannot resolve it because it is not in our hand. Even if you do it twice and thrice, it will remain as it is for a some moment. It is not always. Okay. For a some moment, you'll be get disturbed, and then again your connection will be proper. Then you can properly hear the voice. Okay. So what we are talking about, what is the correlation? Can I get some relation between like two variables? I talk about not. I will not consider any example. Just try to brief it. So when I talk about the relationship, when I talk about the relationship between two or more variable, I will go for correlation. I will go for correlation. So is there is any relationship between number of lectures attended and marks obtained? Yes, anyone? Anyone?
Yes,
Is there?
sir.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. But what do you think about online exams, the exams which we have conducted? Students never attended the lectures, but still they score very good, excellent marks because of the online techniques. Because of online techniques. Okay. Maybe they have cheated and maybe they have done it excellent and etc. But is there a relationship exist or not? So when you attend more lectures, your more concepts will be clear. You'll be get the more knowledge, and obviously you will be score more marks. Okay. So when I talk about relationship, that means I'm talking about the correlation. I'm talking about the correlation. And if you know the number of lectures, like you have attended 10 lectures, for example, can you get how much marks you can score? Yes, I can. If you know the person's attended 0 lectures, but still you can like you can understand what could be their marks. One can able to predict the value of one variable when other variable is given. That is talk about the regression analysis. Okay. So the two very important and very strongly knowledgeable topic will be the correlation and the regression analysis. Okay. So one can do this also in your poster competition, like you collect the data of like two persons and try to draw the some histogram, then you can try to find their correlations, and then are you getting my point? So I'm talking not only in terms of theory, but also you can create a poster. You can create a poster based on that, and you can like you can do like more number of things, provided you think. Chintan is very important. So if you never think, you'll never explore. Okay? Statistics means thinking. Okay? Thinking in right direction. So if you think positive, you can can achieve. Okay, you can do a lot of other things in the correlation regressions. Let's move to the next unit, and more detail you can see later on. Now, next topic is a time series. Time series. The name itself, time series. So we have the data in series, and we are keeping the data in ascending order, descending order according to the time. That's called time series. Okay, that's one of the very interesting topic where you can know more about the data. Like in winter season, what are the demands of them? Like blankets, sweaters, etc., etc., jackets. So these are the highly demandable items, highly demandable product. Okay. So what is their trend in summer season? Maybe the cold drinks are very high in demand. Why? Why? This is all concepts you are going to study in the time series. Are you getting my point? Okay. Then, and more things will be there that we can discuss in the coming session. Then we have a index number. Again, it is a comparative constructions part where you talk about the price price of any product or item. Like if I talk about the price or amount of, let's say, burger in the locality of Ghatkopar and the burger in Churchgate. So I'm just comparing. I'm trying to comparing the location, two location, right? Two area, and I can just try to find out what could be my price, how much time it is twice as compared to the Ghatkopar versus Churchgate. Okay, so eating that vada pav in the normal shop and eating the vada pav in like maybe in very good hotel is a large difference. Is a large difference. So what could be the price? How much time the price will like double in the hotel, or maybe the half of the in normal hotels? That is all we're going to do with the concepts of index number. One can able to decide what could be their average income of the employees. Like the government making different policies, like this much amount to be given to the particular person, this should be the minimum amount. Then how do you on the what basis the person's wages are decided? That is all done by under index number. All done by index. Looking as a locality, looking as a, I will be say the area, looking as a time. Okay, are you getting my point? So that is all decided by the under index. So one can explore more and more idea and knowledge about these topics. And this is 3 units. and more details we can share later on. Okay. So as usual, all materials are shared via GC. So you can visit to GC. You can try to upload data from GC. Okay, and whatever materials we will share, you can upload it. You can start write it down in your notebook. I will try to put at least one quiz if possible for me, because this semester is very hectic because we have a lot of activities. You may also come across a lot of activities. Okay, so you may have fun with that all activities, not only like funning with enjoying with the good ideas. That is a very important. Okay, so just fun will not work. Fun with ideas and innovative thinking, that is all important. Okay. So you can start working on that your poster competitions, like you can create a posters and everything. Like, so as I mentioned, you can take the two datas, like take any two variables data and try to show in the form of diagonalmetry. Like you can show in the form of diagrams like bar diagram. You can plot histogram and try to fit some model like binomial model. Okay. So suppose I have collected the 20 samples and I try to know whether the person is infected by the coronavirus or not. Okay, some kind of testing. So you can check it. You can fit the model of first you've collected the data of that, and then you're trying to fit the binomial model. So if the person, like, out of 10%, 5% will be infected, then what could be their probability? Like what would be the probability of success? Like, okay. So one can do lot provided you do work on that. Okay. Yeah, somebody is saying the voice is breaking. Still my voice is breaking right now. Yes, can you hear me properly now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you can just work on that, like how the topic will be decided and what could be the topic, and you try to present it in the form of posters. Okay, just work on that. If you have any query, you can contact to Jess or even me, no problem. So this is the about your syllabus. Now let's move to the topic. So the unit 1 is basically based on correlation and regression. Okay, so the first we will discuss about the correlation part. Okay. So as I said, the correlation is a statistical tool. It's a statistical tool statistical tool to identify and measure the strength, measure the strength of a relationship between variables. Okay, so it's a very strong statistical tool to identify and measure the strength of a relationship between two variables. So when we have two variables, you can identify their relationship. For example, number of lectures attended and marks obtained in an examination. You can take several examples. You can take several examples. Okay. Like, so I'm just giving not several examples. I'm just giving a few more examples where you can understand. Is there a relationship between cholesterol level and oil intake or age and duration of exercise? So can you get a relation between the how much you do exercise per day and their cholesterol level or their age? Okay. There is some relation exists between this. If you do properly regularly the exercise, you become fit. If you become fit, then your cholesterol level will be very less, right? Getting up. That is all. Like one can get relation, one can get understanding more about these variables. It's called correlation. And so on and so forth. So for the correlation, we need minimum two variable. Okay, we need minimum two variable to understand the relation. And if it is more than two, then it is called multiple correlation. Okay, so if it is two, so I'll just put in the note. If two variables, then we called as a simple correlation. And if it is more than two variables, then we called as a multiple correlation, because we have more than two variables. Okay. Any questions so far? Any questions so far? Can you understand what I'm trying to conclude with this chapter? Yes. Any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay. So the question arises in the mind: how do we check whether the relation will exist or not? Right? Suppose we have given two variables, height and weight. Height and weight. So what could be the next task? How do you decide? So there is a criteria, there is a concept. It's called scatter diagram. Called scatter diagram. So using scatter diagram, one can get a rough idea about whether your data will be whether your data are related or not. Whether your data is related or not. So how do you decide? How do you decide that? That's a very important task. So I'll try to make this graph whether you can understand or not. Let's see. If you just look at the first graph, just look at the first graph. The first one I'm talk about the direct relationship. What is called direct linear. Second one is called direct perfect linear. If I'm saying direct linear, the opposite will be inverse linear, right? Opposite will be the indirect linear or inverse linear. Inverse linear. And if I'm saying direct perfect linear, I will be say that inverse perfect linear. Inverse perfect linear. And if you just look at the maybe the some type of this, I'll be talk at curvilinear, right? I will say direct curvilinear, direct curvilinear, and it will be inverse curvilinear. Why it is curvilinear? Because it's look like a curve. It's look like a curve. Okay, so that I will just going to draw now. You can understand how this particular things work. So if you just look at this data, I have some point here. Okay, I'm just trying to draw the line on that like this. Okay. So I can just find these lines and the points. It's not actually very near, not actually very linear. Getting a point. But if I just look at this line, if you just look at this line, and these points, These points are very near to this line. That's why its name is perfect linear. Why it is called perfect? Because the majority of the points are on the line. Are on the line. Can I do it for similarly for inverse linear? How the inverse linear look like? Exactly inverse of this. Inverse means reverse, right? Inverse means this is my direct. If one increases, other increases. This increases, this increases, or it decreases, this one also decreases. That's called direct. What is inverse? One increases, other decreases, or other decreases, other increases, right? That's called inverse. I hope you're getting the concepts of direct relation. Direct means if one is increasing, other is also increasing, like this, like this. One is increasing, other is also increasing, or one is decreasing, other is also decreasing, like that. Okay, this is the meaning of direct. But in this case, one is increasing, other is also decreasing, or other is decreasing, the second one is increasing, like that. Okay, so that is the meaning of inverse relationship. So if you again just look at this data, there are the majority points are not on exact on the line. So that's why it is called linear relationship. So it is called as a linear relationship, which is inverse. Again, you can look at this data. Just a minute, I'll share the screen again. I think some disturbance my screen. Just a minute. Still my voice is breaking, or you can able to see the screen.
Yes, sir.
Can you understand what I'm trying to
It's
convey
breaking in
here?
between, but it's okay. We can understand.
Sorry.
It's breaking in between, sir, but we can understand.
Okay. Yeah. So I was talking about the inverse perfect linear relationship. Inverse perfect linear relationship. Now let's talk about the direct curvilinear. What's direct curvilinear says? So direct means you understood. Direct means it will be like this. But why it is curvilinear? Because your data will be in the form of curvilinear. Okay, it in the form of curvilinear. So it will be like this. Will be look like a curve. Okay, sorry, this will be here. It's look like a curve. Are you getting my point? Something like that. So it can be like this. But it is the perfect. Sorry, it is the direct. Means one is increasing, other is decreasing. Similarly, inverse means this way. It will be like this. Okay. And there is another last graph which talk about no relationship. Means your graph will be like this. I don't know, like maybe you have a variable, but you cannot understand what type of variable will be exist. Like I can give the example of like uh, increasing in the gold price and the population. Can you get any relation? Can you get any relation between like increasing the price of or I can say gold price and or population? Like population is increasing, that's why the gold price is increasing, like that. So you can't conclude on such a data whether this relation exists or not. Okay, so such a relation is called as a nonsense relation, and we call as a no correlation. No correlation. We call as a no correlation. So this is basically all plots where you can try to get more about the data. Okay, this is all y versus x. So where y is called dependent variable and x is called independent variable. Y is called dependent variable and x is called independent variable. So as I mentioned, one is increasing, other is also increasing. It's a direct relationship. And when we call it is perfect, when majority of the points on the line, so you can get more about that. Okay, if one is increasing, other is decreasing, we call it as an inverse linear. We call it as a inverse linear relationship. Okay, so let's take example based on that. Take down the following data. The following table shows that number of lectures attended and marks obtained by 10 students. Okay, so we'll take the number of lectures attended and here we have a marks. So I'm just giving the raw data. 68, 46, 78, 83, 60, 87, 65, 75, 55. And the marks 61, 75, 54, 80, 80, 85, 68, 90, 72, 75, 60. Draw scatter diagram. And comment on it. Solution. So this is the diagram. This is called scatter diagram, which we need to draw. Okay. So we have a x variable, we have a y variable. Like here, you need to decide which is your dependent variable, which is your independent variable. Because as I mentioned, y is a dependent variable and x is an independent. Okay. So which one is dependent on which one? Can you tell me? Anyone can tell? Which variable is dependent on which variable?
Marks is dependent on number of lectures attended.
Yes. So marks will be dependent on number of lectures. So that means the marks will be the dependent variable and number of lectures will be the independent variable. So we'll plot marks of 10 like this data. Here it will be the, I will just write y and x, that will be better because this is your y variable, this is your x variable. Right? So marks will be dependent on number of lectures. So here will be the marks and here will be the number of lectures attended. Have you cleared this concept first of all? Let me know, everyone. Go to chat box and write down y. If you understood, go to chat box and write down y. First task, we need to obtain the dependent variable. Dependent variable is like the variable which is dependent on other variable. Okay. So obvious the marks is dependent on number of lectures. So the marks, like if you are not attending the lectures, that means you can score 0 marks. If you're attending 5 lectures, your marks will increase, right? Or decrease based on the data. So the marks will be dependent. So that's why marks is assumed to be y. And x will be the independent automatically. So you can try to understand that concept. Have you clear what is the concept of dependent and independent? So we need to identify the dependent and independent variable. Okay. Now, what is next task? What is next task? You can just look at the variable of x and y. What is the minimum variable for x? I think is it 50. So minimum is 50, and the maximum is I think it's 87 around. Yeah. Similarly, you can go to for x or y. Minimum is 54 and the maximum is 90. So based on the scale, we have to just do the marking. Just consider on x-axis, y-axis 50. So it's a 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Okay. Similarly here also 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. I'll take up to. Please do the proper scaling. Otherwise, do proper scaling with that. Okay. on x-axis y, what you're considering, and on x-axis y. So you can write down all scales and everything. On x-axis, what you're considering, y-axis, what you're considering. Then you can draw, like you can start taking the points. So 50, 61. So 50, 61 means somewhere here. Okay, you can draw the points. You have to draw the points. So this is my points. Then next we have 68 and 75. 68 means approximate here, and 75 means approximate in between this. Okay. So I'll just taking approximate, but you work on properly with all scaling. Okay. Then 46 and 54. 46 means somewhere here, and 54 means somewhere I can just consider. Then 78 and 80. '83, '85, '83, '85, 60, 68, 60, 68, 87 and 90, 87 and 90, 65, 72, 65, 72, 75, 75, 55 and 63. Yes, this is your number of lectures, number of lectures. Just a minute, I'll again share the screen. Number of lectures attended, and here we have a marks often. So can you tell me what is your conclusion looking this data? What is your conclusion? Can you tell me? What do you feel about this particular two variables? What you can put the comment? What is your comment? Yes, anyone?
Direct correlation.
Yes. But can you say it is a perfect linear relationship? See, we have shown you this one, direct perfect also, right? Direct perfect. But if you just try to draw the line, don't draw the line. Just try to just imagine there is a line. But if you just look at, not all the points are belonging to the line. Okay. So as I mentioned, scatter diagram will be just give a rough relationship. It will not give some number. It will just say that if my number of lectures, like if I'm attending the more number of lectures, I will score more number of marks. If I'm attending the less number of lectures, I will be attending less number of marks. Getting my point? So either it is increasing if one is increases, other is decreases, or other is increases, the other one is decreases, like that. So that means there is a direct linear relationship. So you can take down the comment, you can take down that interpretation. There is a direct linear relationship between, there is a, so above diagram, or I will be say graph, okay, better, above diagram depicts that, or shows that there is direct linear relationship between marks obtained and number of lectures attended. Okay. So this is the very important interpretation part, which is mandatory to write it down in all the examples. Okay. I think sir has joined. Let me make them host. So students will meet again 2 o'clock lectures. So we'll continue with the rest part. Okay. But try to understand how this diagram will work, and we can see in the doubt session will be the coming session if we have like any query in the mind, because I think sir has already joined. Sanket sir is there now, I think. Who's next lecture? Anyways,
Thank you, sir.
yeah.
मैम ने बोला था कि उनका लेक्चर है।